This is
There you go.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Sarah. Today's date is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020, and we have with us Rebecca, Gurdan, and Holly. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining
Hi,
us.
thank you.
Now, we're having a discussion at the moment about how we're feeling with the energies of the planet and with ourselves at this time. So, Holly, did you want to start, or Dan?
Holly can start. I'll let it go.
Okay, I'll go. I was just saying how the environment, my environment, not only the nature around me, the earth, the air, my sleep, my sight, my vision, my taste, everything has changed. And it, like Dan mentioned earlier, one moment it seems I'm in one perspective, another moment I'm in another perspective, and not to mention when that fluctuation happens, then I'm seeing the Mandela Effects. I'm
Mm-hmm.
conscious enough that I recognize that didn't exist where I just was. Whatever it is that drew my attention.
Can you give us an example? Because I'm trying to.
Okay, I have a perfect example. This happened recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was with my friend, Holly, my other Holly 2, who's a soulmate, and an enlightened one. And I picked up something from my mom at her house, or to take to her at her house nearby. And she hadn't seen my mom's house before. So mom had said, asked me to go put something in her bathroom, in her off her bedroom. Now, she had a whirlpool tub, one of those walk-in, for the elderly whirlpool tubs. She had moved from her previous house to this house. And I was there when it was put in. This was a year ago. I was there when the plumber, not even a year ago. I was there when it was put in, and it was too short. It was like 1.5 feet. There was like a garden tub or something there originally. So they took that out, and when they put the plumbers put that in, I just remember looking at it going, well, there's a whole open spot at the end of it, 1.5 feet before it hits the wall. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? It's just open, like the subfloor. And, I mean, that looks horrible. When are you going to fix that, And so that day, just recently, when I walked back there to drop off whatever it was, I just stood there stunned. Because lo and behold, I looked at the tub, and it fit the space, and there was a wall there. And I ran back out. I mean, after I could talk, I'm like, Holly, that did not look like that. That's And I ran back out, and I'm like, Mom, when did you have a carpenter here to fix your bathtub, the big open spot? And she goes, what are you talking about? She goes, it's always been that way. I'm like, no, it wasn't. And she just looked at me like I was nuts. And I was like, but, you know, I was just floored. I mean, that was my most recent huge Mandela effect of being in a different timeline with the same people, but different environment. The environment was different.
So basically reality morphed
But
and
yeah,
changed to what you preferred.
yeah. So that was a very physical thing. And I know there's other smaller ones, but I can't, they don't come to mind, but more like movies, movie names, things I'd read before I knew super well, and like all the wording was different, different titles that I knew weren't the same, you know, things like that. But that was a big physical one. But as far as the other one, it's the energies, my sight and how I see and sensing, my abilities to sense different energies, nature, wind, animals, other beings. 1 minute I'm just normal, and the next minute I'm just, it's like I take one step and I'm someplace else, yet it looks the same, like Dan described. And that's really a very good way you said it, Dan. I mean, it's flipping all over the place.
Dan,
Back and forth and frontwards and backwards and sideways. And
it's weird because where you start isn't where you end off. It's like you'll start thinking, oh, this is really strange. And then you'll figure out the strangeness. And by the time you figure out the strangeness itself has changed. And now you're having to rethink it and go, wait a minute, everything just changed. And then you rethink it and go, oh, okay, I'm going to have to turn left over here. And then you turn left only to find out that you really turned right.
Yeah.
And you end up on the right, and then you end up on the right, and you look back and you find out, oh my God, it's left. And it's like, it's everything is so twisty, weird. It's really strange, and I don't really have a great analogy other than it's not what it appears. It's absolutely not what it appears. And I'm noticing side effects of myself is that I'm feeling less physical. I'm going less. I'm not feeling like I used to feel.
That too.
I'm not feeling how I used to feel. I just go, oh, this is this.
There's
this
one.
this is this. And then it's not that way anymore. It's like, oh, and then it changes. It goes back. Go, oh, wait a minute. Now it's great. And then, oh, well, what's it doing? You know, it's like I can't even keep up with it. It's like, so I don't.
So
there's another thing I've noticed too that is newish for me is when I'm astral, when I'm in the astral and I'm, you know, going here and there and everywhere. Most of the times within my own soul fractals, I'm other versions of me and other timelines. The one thing that's different is my consciousness. Before, when that would happen, it was just like I was a bystander. I couldn't do anything but observe and just experience it almost against my will, like I had no will. What's different now is that it may start out like that wherever I end up for just a short moment, and then my consciousness, like my multi-dimensional consciousness kicks in, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I have my awareness within their awareness in their environment, and I now have control over everything. Whereas before I had no control, and now I do. So that next level conscious awareness has kicked in, where I can actually change what happens and how, and fix it, actually. So that's a big new thing.
Nice.
That's occurred.
Yeah, I'm noticing the same myself. I spend a lot of time in astral realms um, during the day. So I'm seeing a lot more things. I'm able to, uh, it feels like the density there is coming into the density of here a little bit more, but I'm still able to do the things that I used to do with astral travel, meaning like flying or having spiritual energetic powers, that sort of thing. And I'm remembering and I'm seeing that I'm able to do this even though there may be some peers of mine within the realm who may be looking at me like, how are you doing this? Or they're not perceiving that they can do it yet as well. So it's interesting that observation that, you know, there are still people coming into reality that it's possible to be able to fly, be able to have your energetic powers in the astral realm, uh, when they become aware that it's truly them, when it's truly their consciousness from their third dimensional understanding of themselves in the fourth dimensional realm. I don't know if you understood what I just said, but it makes sense to me.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Like
I totally
there's some
agree with you
people
and experience that.
who are experiencing the fourth dimensional astral realm, but they're not aware that they're able to continue their other dimensional ways of being. So yeah, I find that interesting.
It's similar to like the idea of a step in or a walk in. Like there are stories that if somebody will have a traumatic experience and they just don't want to deal with it.
What's that? Ooh, 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 ooh. What's that?
Sorry. Yeah, hang on. That's the thing. There.
Oh,
That
just had an
was a racket.
energetic.
Yeah, well, no, I clicked on something. I was trying to clear something. I accidentally clicked on something noisy. Anyway, but it's kind of like a step-in idea. So the idea of a step-in, if somebody has a traumatic experience, like say they have an accident, automobile accident, and say they get beaten up really, really bad, and the soul that had the accident might say, "Yes, I'm going to live, I'm going to recover, but I don't want to." My agreement, my soul agreement is to go another direction. And so that soul might step out, and another soul might step in and say, "You know what? I have some experience here. Why don't, I'll fill your spot, and you can have my spot or another." And so they'll switch, right? They'll switch, and this is why you hear a lot of stories about somebody will have a car accident, and they'll come back, and when they recover, it's like they're a new person or a different person, or sometimes a completely different person. And that's like the step-in idea, the walk-in idea. And I think this some of the energies that are going on now, like something similar to what Holly was describing, is that we're having almost a step-in or walk-in experience on our own selves. It's like, oh, we have this, like we'll start the day and it's like, oh, well, this thing is unfolding and we think our day is going a certain way. And then it's like, oh, then the frequencies will all change. And then we find out that we're over here. It's like, oh, we're over here now. It's like we stepped into over here. I mean, it's like it's still us, but it's a different us. Like, oh, we thought we were going to be the us over there, not the us over here. And then you go, okay, well, it seems like I haven't jumped in a couple of minutes. So now I think I'm going to commit to being here. And so you bring your focus over here. And you commit to focusing here, only to find out you're really focused over there still, and then you find out that you're over there, and then the you that you just committed to, and then comes over sometimes, and then you become that together. And it's just so weird how the energies are unfolding. It's almost too much to try to describe. And then at the same time, you have to be cool about it and go, wow, you know, things are just really whack right now. How exciting. And you almost have to be that way. Otherwise, you would go almost insane, I'm sure. Because if you try to just wrap your mind around all of it, you think, oh, man, I should just be happy. Why should I worry about trying to figure all this stuff out? Maybe I should just be happy. Maybe I don't care if everybody's stepping or jumping or flipping or flopping, you know?
Yeah, but you get either fragments or you get feelings that you could be doing something even in this reality that you do in the other dimensional realms.
Yeah, but I
And
find if you'll
it's
just
like
be
you're
happy and you,
jumping left and right.
yeah, I mean, you can get caught up in all the flopping frequencies, right? You can get caught up in it.
Flopping.
Or you can just go, oh, I'm just really happy in my now. Right? And just,
No, you can be happy here now. That's why you're feeling the other frequencies because you're so
yeah,
happy.
well, I think that, yeah, that kind of do. But when you get, when the frequency flopping becomes uncomfortable,
Well,
focusing back to your now can be very comforting then.
yeah.
And so you think, oh,
So
wow,
then you're
everything's crazy. You know, I'm just going to focus on me for a minute here. And then something else will unfold and think, oh, and then just, so the practice of coming back to yourself seems to be the best way to kind of deal with these flippy floppy energies that are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to be the solution so far.
Yeah. But even doing that much is, I don't know, for me, it's still like I would be feeling here very solid,
Mm-hmm.
very in third dimensional solidity. And
Mm-hmm.
then it'll jump to a perception of fourth dimensional waviness. And I would flip flop between those two versions of myself all the
Mm-hmm.
time, even though I'm very, very happy at the moment. And I said, oh my God, this is fun. This is new. And it's like, okay, I'm solid and then I'm wavy. I'm solid, then I'm wavy. Solid, wavy, solid, wavy. And I'm like, what is going on here? So it's just one of those things, and I have to breathe into it. And then I become both, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more to this then, because while you were saying that, it occurred to me that, oh, this explains very good where we are dimensionally, and it's important where we are dimensionally because a lot of people know that we're riding a planet that's ascending. Everybody has heard the stories that we're all going to the fifth dimension. They've been talking about it since the 60s that I'm aware of, the 50s and 60s. They were talking about, oh, the fifth dimension, oh, we're doing this, oh, the age of Aquarius, all that, all these things. And not very many people have a handle or a grasp of the dimensional idea of what this means. So we're heading towards the fifth dimension, which means we're having less of the third dimension. So everybody knows that the third dimension is front, back, and sides. Everybody knows 3D is a solid feeling kind of thing. And there are people who think that time is the fourth dimension, that we've been in a 3D, 4D kind of experience most of our lives. And now the 5D is coming up. Well, in order for the 5D to come up, if we're thinking kind of in a linear path, if we were in 3D, 4D, and now we're going to more 4D, 5D, then the idea that some of the 3D kind of needs to fall away. So 3D is very physical, 4D is less physical, and 5D is even less physical. And so here we're talking about, oh, we're feeling like we're jumping timelines, or we're feeling like we're jumping frequencies. And so that can only happen because we're slipping more towards the 4D, 5D, and some of the 3D is slipping away. And you think, well, how can we prove that? So, well, because of the Mandela stuff, like Holly just mentioned, because some of us that are sensitive can feel these kind of strange frequency jumps. And then we find out by talking with each other that, oh, it's not a singularity. It's happening for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Or it's happening for everybody. It's just some are noticing and some aren't. Or some are noticing something, but they have no clue what the heck it is. But if you look at it as far as density goes, I think that we're becoming less 3D. We're stepping closer to 5D. And people say, well, it's not complete 5D because in 5D, it's understood that you can instantly manifest anything that you think. There's still going to be contrast, but you can manifest things more quickly. And I think, well, we're not quite all the way in the 5D, so I call it the lobby of the 5D, or the introduction of the 5D. It's the lobby. You're not all the way in, but you're there. You've arrived, but you haven't entered yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's kind of like a lobby. So as we go deeper and deeper into the lobby of the fifth, we have to give up something. We have to give up some of the 3D anchoring. We have to give up some of the physicality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you give up some of that anchoring, that you experience some of this more jumpiness, this kind of jumpy energy, this kind of almost like frequency flicker. It's weird.
Frequency fluctuations.
Yeah, it's like flickering. It's like we're here, but we're also kind of there, and then we're also kind of over there, and they're not just switching and swapping, but they're also leaping and jumping, and it's like it's like it's a very strange part of creation when we're slipping through these different things and be able to experience this. And so that's why I was saying it's a bit much to wrap the mind around. It's almost impossible to describe and make any kind of sense. And here we are trying to make sense of it and then make it simple enough where everybody else can kind of understand that, things are a lot more slippery. We're very slippery right now.
Yeah. So basically when you're flip-flopping, at first you feel like yourself, like you usually do every day. And then it's kind of like a tingling within the body, and you can literally feel the energies of your body, your energetic body, move in and out, like the pulsation of your energetic field. Or it can be this way, or it can go this way. And it's just like, okay. And then a thought will occur, and then you'll be in an entirely different mode of understanding of who you are as a person or a concept of who you believe yourself to be in that physicality of fluctuating energies. And then you can switch over to who you believe you are in the third dimensional density of energy as well. So you have both thoughts occurring at the same time, which means you are connecting to those frequency of being. It's not just thoughts, the frequencies of being in that moment in time. So as you're vibrating over here or vibrating over here, you're becoming that being, and then you're becoming that being. And so you feel like you're jumping timelines simply because you're becoming a different person every time the frequency fluctuates. Because you have different thoughts and different emotions and different parts of your self-awareness that occurs during that time period that you're in fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional thought. And then you have a different concept of yourself in third dimensional thought. And so it's like you're trading information with yourself, if I can say it that way.
Sort of. It's sort of, yeah. Here again, this is just, a human way to try to describe this.
Yeah, this is a
somebody might come out and just say, "Oh, you guys are crazy."
That's all right.
And it's fine. And we might enjoy our crazy because our crazy helps us expand. And so crazy is not a bad thing.
No, it's actually a good thing
It's a
because
very good
you're
thing.
not you're not trying to control your
No,
evolution. You're
well, I'm not worried about
observing.
evolution. It's just that if we can have these interesting kinds of expansions and then try to wrap our minds around these expansions to try to describe them to others so that others who might be feeling this kind of what I call the whack-a-mole kind of things going on, that if you can kind of wrap your mind around a little bit, you can be a little bit calmer within the energies instead of
Yeah,
being so spastic within the energies. Because I don't believe that spasticity would be
it's not going to
very
help you.
good for 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 calming the situation down, because things are
No.
going on that people aren't easily understood. So if they could understand, oh, even if we don't know what's going on, and even if we don't really have an idea, but as long as we know that something is going on, then maybe we can be more calm about it and say, oh yeah, that's right, those crazy people on YouTube said that the energies were kind of being weird and wonky, and when it does, just kind of come back to yourself, and then things settle down a little bit. And if they'll
Yeah.
just be able to calm down enough,
That's why
then
the
the
walks in nature
then
are
the
very
experience of the expansion could be a little bit easier to take because it's not so wild. So there are
yeah.
people talking, oh, it's such a wild ride. So yeah, but is it? Is it really that wild, or is it only wild if you're spastic in it?
Hmm.
What if you come back to yourself again and go, oh, I'm just a being that's expanding. And even though I've not expanded like this before that I can recall, I'm in a new kind of space time.
Yeah.
Then should I be really freaking? Is freaking out really the best thing to do? And the
No.
answer is kind of no. The answer is kind of no.
But observing is the thing to do. Being
Observing is the thing to
aware.
do. And even if you get caught up in your observation, coming back to yourself again and tuning in back into your own existence again would be very important. And that
Yeah.
kind of stems in what I've been saying about this whole thing. There's so much stuff, so many people have got this great opportunity to kind of go within. And who's to say that this pandemic idea for the whole planet wasn't just so that everybody could calm down through
Hmm.
these
Yes.
new energies?
And
Because
look
can
within
you
themselves.
imagine everybody working and trying to go through all this stuff?
Oh no.
So I don't think they'd have been able to. That maybe, if there's going to be a positive slant to this whole virus thing, is that it gave everybody the time off they need to acclimate to these new energies that are going on, that are being made available without going flipping insane.
You're
So
okay, Rebecca?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm just taking everything in. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I know it's kind of weird.
It is like you're saying, I think it's like a reset for the planet, basically.
Sort
Yes.
of
Pretty.
can be. It sort of
It
can.
can be. It could be if, as I said before, people will listen and maybe, get in touch with reality a little.
For themselves a little.
For
Yeah.
Yeah,
themselves. Yeah.
like for everything around us, because if they'll realize that we can't keep on the way that we have been, if they can, get in touch with that idea, that would be a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping that, I'm still hoping that maybe that can happen and it won't go back to being just business as usual.
I don't think
Oh,
it
it'll
can
never
be. I
be
mean, it
that.
might try to be, but I don't think it's going to be able to.
No.
I think we've come just a little bit too far for it to snap back into the backpack. So I don't
Yeah,
think
That's
so.
what he's
I hope
saying.
so. I hope so. I hope that
But then
there has.
I'm not sure what the future is going to hold either. So I hope that whatever
Oh,
we do expand to is better than what we recall we left.
hmm.
Right. The only
So
constant in the universe is change.
change is the only
Everything
constant.
is
Hmm.
Yeah.
changing and it's going to continue to change. And so nothing is going to be the old normal. It's just changing. And people like to say, oh, there's going to be a new normal. No,
Well, in a way it
It's
is,
going to
though.
constantly changing because it's fluctuating all the time
As long
now.
as normal isn't a static thing.
It's not going to be static.
Or it is a static thing, but there's normal in so many new places that, yeah, so it's changing anyway.
Yeah.
As that sounds. But yeah.
Holly, you there?
I don't know. Well, she's there.
I'm here, just
There
cooking.
she is.
Oh,
Cooking.
okay.
Something I need to start doing here very quickly too. How about we wind this up right here? This is
Okay.
even though it's a short, but it's very sweet and very full of information. And
Short, please.
short and sweet, and I don't want to melt their brains too much. I don't want to, tell them that unicorns did it or something. Or really, yeah.
Well,
I just made that up. It's not a real thing.
Well,
Don't chase unicorns if you're
you
having.
know what a real thing is, though? The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. I never knew that. It is true.
Well, there you go. Maybe we need
I
some
like
Scottish
that.
people to help us out here. But
well,
anyway,
it's
yeah,
really-
you wanna do a quick blessing or something, Sarah? We'll end the recording.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and hopefully this has been of some help or informative understanding for yourself or about people around you or about events around you. And if this was helpful for you, please do like, share, comment, share with your friends and your neighbors. And just enjoy being who you are as a human being, whether it's a third dimensional human being or fourth dimensional human being or fifth dimensional human being. Okay. Whatever that is for you, enjoy yourself and be happy and be in love with yourself and everything around you. So I just want to have a blessing towards that idea. And so here we go. Ilani ya sola yaka. Koi si ukani ya sira taniro tuaha. Kia tani arati suahiana. Kaya saya toko ai ni kia sa. Koshuro tukuya. Narati siratanukura. Hanai kiasa korata aivi nire tuku urasha. Namaste.
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 Holly, did you have a blessing that you wanted to give? Oh, she's still cooking.
Not today.
Not today. She might be in the kitchen. All right.
My heart sends it out, though.
There you go.
Okay.
All right,
Darling.
everybody.
Much love to everyone. Make sure you're sharing and receiving love for yourself, sharing it to the planet, to all of humanity, all of nature, and all of you, all of your aspects. So, good evening and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.